Oh, okay.
All right, you guys ready?
That's all. So
I want to help with,
so really disturbing.
I need, now that my foot's better. Busy.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Did we call? Okay. It is 6 o'clock. And the work session for mayor and council for September 19th is called to order. And we will begin with our mission statement, which is as follows. It is the mission of the City of Forest Park to enhance, strengthen, and grow our city by collaborating with our community to provide the highest level of service. Striving to be recognized as a diverse community that values and respects all members. We will strive to provide fair, professional, and courteous service through transparency and open communication. As we work to achieve this mission, we will have integrity beyond reproach while employing fiscal discipline and innovation. In this work, there are no praises and raises for mediocrity. Can we have our roll call, please?
Good afternoon. Roll call for September 19th work session. Councilmember Kimberly James.
Present.
Councilmember DeBose Anton.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Councilmember Hector Gutierrez.
Present.
Councilmember Latricia Ace Akins Wells. Here. Councilmember Alan Mears.
Here.
Mayor and council, you have a quorum.
Excellent, thank you. Dr. Cooper, you have the floor with your city manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Manager report, September 19th. On September 24th, the Recreation and Leisure Department will host a 5K fun run walk event at Star Park, and this event kicks off at 8 a.m. On October 1st, Recreation and Leisure will host its fall pop-up shop. This event will be held in the parking lot of the rec center and start at 10 a.m. Setup is at 8 a.m. So for more information, you can contact the Recreation and Leisure Department at our number 404-366-4720, option 1 for the main menu and option 2 for recreation and leisure. September 29th, from 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m., the City of Forest Park Economic Development Department invites you to Breakfast on the Go network event with local business owners and city officials. This event will be held at 696 Main Street and will have refreshments provided by our local vendors. So for more information, again, you could contact Economic Development 404-366-4720, option 1 for the main menu and option 6 for Economic Development. Clayton County Community Development HUD Program Division is presenting a viral tenant and landlord seminar that will be held on Saturday, September 24th. So that's this Saturday at 10 a.m. The program will discuss landlord-tenant rights. Excuse me. And for more information, you can call the number represented 770-210-5208 or RSVP for the Zoom link. There's also copies of the flyer out on the table if you want to grab one before you leave, because we do get a lot of calls at the city regarding matters that the city can't really get involved in. And I think this would just be a great opportunity for residents and renters to ask questions of attorneys and everyone that could give you the information you need. Again, City Hall has the one call, so you can call 404-366-4720 to reach any department in the city. Next, the City of Forest Park has received their second round of ARPA funds. It was my intention to have the survey to council for this meeting. We weren't able to do it, but we will have it definitely before the October 3rd meeting to council to bring forth to have it voted on for items to fund through the ARPA program. Under our employee spotlight, I'd like to congratulate Officer Isaiah English for completing 40 hours. Oh, I'm sorry, Isaiah, why did I say English?
I have no idea.
He speaks English.
Isaiah Ellis, Mr. Isaiah Ellis, sorry about that, for completing 40 hours course in police motorcycle techniques. And this course is designed to provide motorcycle officers with formal instructions in safe operations at motorcycles at various speeds. And on September 8th, the Clayton County Chamber of Commerce held its annual Valor Awards. The city of Forest Park, we had several nominees from our PD. However, our big winners was officers Anthony Morgan, who's actually away serving our country, Sergeant Alyssa Zachary, and they both received the Community Impact Award, and our own Officer Eric Ellis and Mr. Sagar Dice. Yeah. Both received life-saving awards. So I want to congratulate all of our honorees and our big winners for the year. And I did tell Officer Dice, if something happens to me at Forest Park, I need y'all to call him so he can get here and save my life. Okay. On September 28th, Forest Park Fire Chief Latasha Clemens conducted an interview with WSB on the She Talks media segment. And if you didn't hear it, it is on the WSB website. Chief Clemens did an outstanding job.
Really did.
And on September 16th, Forest Park Fire Department, Joanna Armstrong, I got it right? Yes. Joanna Armstrong, our emergency management coordinator, conducted a Fox 5 interview. And Joanna did an awesome job speaking about the grant that the city got to, a federal grant to help firefighters with mental and physical assessments. September 15th kicked off our Hispanic Heritage Month, and the city of Forest Park again was featured on Channel 46 that evening for a feature story covering the Hispanic Heritage Month kickoff. And lastly, today, September 19th, join me in wishing our own Councilman DeBooz Antoine a very happy birthday. So he is with us on the phone, everybody, but happy birthday, Councilman.
Happy birthday, sir.
Excellent. Presentations, staff presentation regarding ongoing and planned PIO activities, background and history. The Public Information Office exists to ensure that information released by the City of Forest Park is timely, accurate, comprehensive, and relevant to all aspects of communications with the general public, internal staff, and members of the media. It is the mission of the Public Information Office to promote and enhance city government via media relations, print and digital publications, social media, marketing campaigns, and the city's website. A comprehensive presentation is to be provided to the City Council regarding current and planned office activities. Mr. Lloyd, you have the floor, sir.
Hello. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present to you today. Tonight, what I'd like to do is just provide a brief but in-depth overview of some of the current and planned activities that we have going on in the city's Public Information Department. It just hit me today that I'm first on the agenda, so I'm going to really try to set the tone for tonight's meeting. So I'll be brief, keep it real nice, and we'll get on with it. So for today's agenda, what I wanted to do was highlight some of the key accomplishments that we've had come out of the office. I also want to talk about the general communications, media relations, social media, some of the opportunities that we have within the department, as well as future projects. And then at the end, I will close and then open it up in case you guys have any questions. So some of the accomplishments that we've done so far, the adoption of the city's first public information and communications policy. This was very important because this gave us a guideline for how we were going to communicate with our residents and our businesses in the community. We also developed the launch of the Leaf Report monthly newsletter. I'll get into that a little bit more in the presentation. We also created an official City of Forest Park LinkedIn company page, as well as we've established an approved process for disseminating news releases, media alerts, and general information to the residents, something that streamlines so then that way people who are looking for information about what's going on in the city, they have an opportunity to know what's going on from City Hall. So again, I mentioned the Leaf Report. So that's our monthly newsletter that we send out from the PIO office. It includes up-to-date information about city news, upcoming events, open job positions, and more. We also use what's called Constant Contact, and that's a mass emailing platform. And that allows us to distribute information to residents, community organizations, and city staff. Right now, we have roughly around 2,000 individual contacts added to the city's main distribution list. Our open rate is really, really good. Right now, actually, I checked this morning, it's actually at 41%. And that's the open rate of when you're sending out your emails, how many people are actually opening and seeing it and reading it. The industry standard for government is around 30%, so we're definitely hitting the benchmark when it comes to that. Right here are just some screenshots. So this gives you a overview of the Leaf Report newsletter. As you can see, what we try to do in each newsletter, I try to highlight some of the open positions that we have so people can find out if they want to apply or they want more information. And then right there is the Constant Contact dashboard. That just gives you an overview of what it looks like on the back end. So as you can see, we have roughly around 2,000 people who've signed up or we've added to the distribution list. That's our open rate, and also the content growth. So the contact growth at 45%. Or 45, individuals who were added. So really, really happy and pleased with what we have going on right there. Media relations, my heart, my soul. So our office is really responsible for making sure that we're generating positive news when it comes to the city. I'm really proud and really excited to announce that we've been able to secure coverage in the following media outlets. We've done the Clayton News Daily, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, WSB TV, CBS 46, 11 Alive, Fox 5, Clayton Crescent, and even BET. So we are getting the word out. We're getting our stories out there. As you can see, I grabbed a couple of screenshots. So that was the one that we did when we did the salary increases. That was posted on the AJC. And then when we had the issue with the trains, when council issued the statement, that was picked up as well. One of the things you may be asking is, how are they getting these stories? What's the process? What I typically do is I work with each department head and I ask them, I say, hey, what do you guys have going on? What's the stories? What can I write about? And what I do is I basically write a press release that's approved by department heads as well as the city manager. We write that, distribute that out, and then basically media coverage. They cover it and they ask, what's going on? They ask, can I get some more information? And that's my job to provide that to them. So as you can see, this is one of the press releases that I sent out about the new senior living facility, and that was picked up in the Clayton News Daily. Here's another example. This was about the rental assistance program. So again, it just stems from a press release or just calling the reporter or the producer and saying, hey, I got a good story. A lot of times they get tired of just talking about crime. It gets old, it gets boring. So they want some fresh content. Send it out, and then next thing you know, you're on 11 Live. Social media, of course, that's very important because that's another way that we're able to distribute information. Primary social media platforms that we use here at the city are Facebook. We have roughly around 1,600 followers. Twitter, around 100. LinkedIn, the company page, we have roughly around 280. And then on Instagram, we have, I believe it's close to 1,500 followers. And here are just a couple of screenshots that I was able to put on the presentation just to kind of give you a sense of some of the stuff that we're promoting on our platforms. And so it's not just pictures, it's not just information about what's going on in City Hall. It's a variety of different things that I like to showcase. So as you can see, even when we have something as simple as a road closure, I mean, giving that information to the residents is paramount. Our law enforcement showing appreciation for them. And then some of the different community events that we have going on, Food Truck Friday, Fun Fridays, just all of the things that we have going on in the city. I want to make sure that residents in the community are informed. Some more screenshots, severe weather updates. So when that time comes, if we need to get the word out about taking precaution or being prepared, we're definitely taking steps to do that. We also are including video content. So construction on the new Gillen Public Safety Building, and then Forest Park Day. I know that was the biggest one ever. So we definitely wanted to make sure that we were out there going live and showcasing what we have going on down in Star Park. So opportunities, future projects. One of the things that I really want to focus on is creating more video content that features city staff. Again, they are the ones that do the work. They are our champions. They're out there every day fighting the good fight. Also too, we have our community video showcase program that will be starting, we'll start filming for that next week. I also want to implement, and I'll be talking with HR a little bit more, of launching a Forest Park Job of the Week, where we're able to go out to different departments and highlight some of the positions that we have, as well as the work that they're doing. And then finally, establishing relationships with local and regional and national media partners. And one of the other things that I wanted to add also too is I've been in discussions with Dr. Cooper and the city manager, as well as other departments, as far as maybe expanding the department and how that would look like going forward. In closing, I'm really excited to be here. I really appreciate the opportunity to represent this city. I know just jumping in, everybody's been extremely supportive. I gotta say thank you to staff, because they really are the ones that give me the stories to run with. So really happy to be here. I'm looking forward to the next couple of years to see how we can take it to the next level. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And you know how ecstatic I am to have you here. You've been a blessing. Councilman Gutierrez, any questions or comments?
Yeah, just comments. There's clearly a before and after since you showed up, Mr. Lloyd. So I just want to commend you and just thank you. It's not only those big stories, but you will wake up early on a Saturday morning to come cover my cleanups. So I was always very appreciative of that. You, your heart is into it and you're genuine and you care about delivering our story. So thank you for your hard work. It's not unseen. So
Thank you.
Councilwoman Wells.
Reiterate what Councilman Gutierrez said. There's definitely a difference. There was definitely a need for you. So thank you so much for all that you do. So my first question is, are you doing all this alone? Like, do you need staff to help you do some of these things?
Currently, I am doing it alone. Again, I've had discussions with the city manager, and when I first took the role, what I wanted to do was at least take a year just to understand the process, see what we had going on, see how my role fitted within the city. But probably going forward, we probably will need to have those discussions as far as expanding the department. What I would like to have is somebody who could be responsible for just the social media and the video content, because that takes a lot of time and you want to make sure you have somebody who could do it right. But yes, we're currently having those discussions.
And then the community video showcase. I just want to know what that.
Yeah, so this was something that was presented to me, I want to say a couple of months ago. Basically, there's a video vendor that works with different municipalities in different areas throughout the nation. And they reached out to Forest Park and said, hey, we really want to feature your city. You guys will give you four videos at no cost. So it's at no cost to the city. Council actually approved that item. So that will be filming will be taking place next week. And for the four videos, what we're going to do is have a mayor's welcome and council welcome. We're also going to do 2 recruitment videos, one for PD and one for fire and emergency services. And then the last video will be used to highlight the diversity in our community. So the businesses, different events that we have going on and so forth. But more information, I literally had a conference call today, so I'll be sending out some communications about that with more details. Thank you.
Councilman Mears. Councilwoman James.
Thank you.
Councilman Antoine. All right,
Good job.
thank you.
Thank you.
Item 2, City Council, City of Forest Park, fiscal year 2020 and 2021 financial audit and findings, background and history. Malden and Jenkins report out on the annual audit for fiscal year 2020 and 2021. And gentlemen, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Thanks for having us here today to present the audit results. Hopefully you had a chance to look at the ACFR, the Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, as well as the auditor's discussion and analysis, which I'll be presenting from today, as well as the management letter. As I go through, you can stop and ask questions, or you can wait until the end and I can address your questions at that time. All right, you can go on to next page.
Make sure you speak into the mic.
Can you go to page 2? Next page, please. All right, just a quick update about Malden and Jenkins. So we've added our 14th office is in Raleigh, North Carolina. So now we cover all surrounding states of Georgia. And we audit over 650 governmental clients. And again, we're, a firm that's been around for over 100 years and continuing to grow. Next slide. As far as the engagement team, again, my name is Doug Moses. I was responsible for the city's audit engagement with over 23 years of experience. This year, we had Ryan Jones, who's with us today. His first time kind of working on the city's audit. He comes with 13 years of experience. He's been with the firm for 3 years, coming from Mexico, where he did governmental audits over there. And then this year I had James Bentz to do the quality assurance review. He's out of our Chattanooga, Tennessee office with 18 years of experience. And then down below, just other industries that we serve and other services that we provide other than your traditional accounting and tax services. As far as the financial statements are the responsibility of the mayor, council, and management. Our responsibility is to give an opinion on those financial statements. And we've issued an unmodified opinion, which is a clean opinion, which is what you will hope to get from the external and independent audit. The audit report date was as of August 5th, 2022, which means that the city did miss the December 31st deadline due to some turnover and things of that nature. But hopefully going forward, we can get the city back on track where it's issuing within 6 months of its year end. We also had a report in accordance with governmental accounting standards, as well as a report on the uniform guidance as it relates to your federal award programs. We did have, and I have a correction here, we did have 6 findings, not 5, 6 financial statement findings. We did not have any findings on your single audit program, which was the COVID-19, the CARES funds, which you all received about a little bit over $1 million during fiscal year 2021. But we'll talk about those findings a little later in the presentation. Go on to the next slide. As far as our relationship with management, we received full cooperation from the city's management staff and others. There were no disagreements with management on accounting issues or financial reporting matters. We did have several audit adjustments. Some did result in findings. There were no past audit adjustments, meaning that anything that came to our attention, we went ahead and proposed those adjustments, and those adjustments are reflected in your financial statements. Next slide. Main thing here I want to point out is that we are independent to the city and its financial reporting process in accordance with AICPA professional standards. There were no fees paid to Martin Jenkins for any type of management advisory services that would have impacted our independence as your external and independent auditor. Our governmental advisory practice does provide some advisory services for the city as far as operational assessments and things of that nature. However, those services do not impair our independence as your external auditor. All right, the next few slides kind of go over some financial trends over the last 5 years. This first one is looking at your general fund, which of course is the city's main operating fund, and then your other governmental funds, your special revenue funds and capital project funds. And the city continues to improve its fund balances. Your general fund went from 12.9 million in 2020 to 14.9 million in 2021, while your other governmental funds went from 18.4 million in 2020 to about 19.4 million in 2021. When you're looking at your fund balance, a lot of times people think fund balance is cash, and that's not necessarily the case. You want to look at how liquid your fund balance is. So if you look at your general funds unassigned fund balance at June 30, 2021, it was about $11.6 million. Then if you can compare that to your cash and investments as of June 30, 2021, which is about $13.8 million, your liquidity was about 118%. That's really good. Then when you look at total fund balance, which was about 14.9 million, that's about a 92% liquidity. So very liquid fund balance, and that's not the case for a lot of governments. Next slide. This slide here is looking at your fund balance as a percentage of total expenditures. For June 30s, the rule of thumb is to have anywhere from 2 to 3 months reserve, or from 15 to 25%. Anything lower than that, you run the risk of having to issue a tax anticipation note to get you through those subsequent months after year end until your property tax revenues come in. Well, you can see the city has strong ratios here, right at 55% at June 30, 2021. That's about a 6.3 month reserve. So that's why the city hasn't needed to issue a tax anticipation note in several years now. So strong percentages there. When you look at all of your governmental funds, general funds, special revenue funds, and capital project funds, you're at an even higher percentage, right at 99%. So very strong numbers there. All right, Looking at your sanitation fund, you have three proprietary funds. Sanitation Fund, the URA, which is the Urban Redevelopment Agency Fund, as well as your Downtown Development Authority Fund. And looking at your sanitation fund, these normally are not cash cow funds. Most governments hope to break even. Your sanitation fund is doing pretty well, coming in at about $915,000 of operating income. A slight decline from the prior year, which was about $1,025,000, but still strong operating income. And over the last 5 years, you have not transferred out any funds or were any funds transferred in that fund. So it's self-sufficient. Next slide. All right, so continuing on with your sanitation fund, looking at your change in net position, or you can say net income or net loss, as well as your net position or equity. And you can see that the net position continues to grow, going from roughly 1.6 million in 2017 to about 4.5 million in 2020 to about 5.5 million in 2021. So that's, again, a $915,000 increase over the prior year. All right, next fund is looking at your Urban Redevelopment Agency Fund. So again, this fund was created about 5 years ago, I guess in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. And you can see here, the first 4 years, this fund had an operating loss each year. And so for 2021, it's the first year that it has operating income, which is about $1.3 million as the city sold some of the land that's held for resale. And so you can see that the deficit in your net position, which was about 4.22 million in 2020, it has improved to a deficit of $2.9 million in 2021. So that deficit hopefully will continue to decrease and hopefully become positive in the near future. Next slide is looking at your governmental activities and business type activities for your net position. Again, this is government-wide. So governmental activities is taking all of your governmental funds, general funds, special revenue funds, capital project funds on a full accrual basis, recognizing long-term liabilities and capital assets, and then your business type activities with those three proprietary funds rolled up into one. And you can see here that your net position continues to grow as well. For your governmental activities, 46.6 million in 2020, up to 50.1 million in 2021. While your business type activities net position went from 8.1 million to about 9.9 million. All right, this slide is still looking at your government-wide financials here, but specifically looking at unrestricted net position. So again, you have three categories within net position. You have invested in capital assets, net of related debt, restricted net position, and then unrestricted. And so the unrestricted, if it's positive, it means that you continue to meet your obligations of your citizens and your debtors. So you want that number to be positive. And so this year for your business type activities, for the last 5 years, the previous 4 years, you've had a deficit unrestricted net position for your business type activities. Last year was about $8.2 million deficit. So this year it's a positive unrestricted net position of $10.9 million, while your unrestricted net position for governmental activities is about $11.6 million. So within all of your categories of net position, you're reporting positive balances, and that's pretty good. All right, so now we go into the findings. So again, we had 6 findings that were considered to be material weaknesses. The first one deals with the restatement of beginning net position relating to finance purchases. This has been a finding in the past where the city entered into capital lease agreements, but that activity was not properly reflected by the time we came out to do the audit, where liabilities, long-term liabilities and the capital assets were not recorded. And so we had to make adjustments to properly restate beginning balances to reflect those financial purchases that were not accounted for timely during fiscal year 2020. Next page. All right, so the second one deals with accounts payable. We had an adjustment during our search for unrecorded liabilities. We noted about $95,000 of legal fees that were incurred but not paid until after year end. So we had adjustments to record those liabilities and expenditures. And then the third finding deals with accounting for federal awards as it relates to the CARES fund. So in fiscal year 2020, the general fund had covered some of some allowable expenditures pertaining to this program before the money actually came in. And it was in the tune of about $247,000. But during fiscal year 2021, the CARES Fund was created and there was no reimbursement of those expenditures that were paid for by the general fund. So we had to make an adjustment to transfer $247,000 out of the CARES Fund to go into the general fund for that reimbursement. Next finding deals with segregation of duties. During our review of journal entries, we sampled about 60 journal entries throughout the fiscal year. We also looked at the bank reconciliations and noted that there were no proper segregation of duties, meaning that one person may have prepared the journal entry and approved his or her own journal entry without a second person independently reviewing and signing off on those journal entries. Likewise with the bank reconciliation. So we want to make sure we have proper segregation of duties as it relates to the preparation and approval of bank reconciliation, as well as the preparation and review and approval of journal entries. All right, and the fifth finding relates to the reconciliation of bank accounts. For fiscal year 2021, all of your bank accounts were not timely reconciled. The July 2020 bank account was not reconciled until April of 2021, and then the other 11 months of bank accounts were not reconciled until the months of June through August of 2021. So we need to make sure that your accounts are being reconciled, I would say within 1 to 2 months of month end. So you want to make sure that's being adhered to. And then the sixth finding that's not on here relates to the budgets. We noted that the budgets for your special revenue funds were not adopted for the fiscal year 2021. So we want to make sure that of course, your general fund did have a budget, but we want to make sure all of your special revenue funds have budgets as well. So anytime, like for instance, this ARPA fund was created, so you've already done your budget for 2022, need to do an amendment for the new ARPA fund, special revenue fund. So just need to make sure everything's being timely adopted. All right, so now we go into the 3 management points here. This first one deals with positive pay. To something that we're recommending and something that we see a lot of our clients are utilizing with their financial institutions. This is a way to reduce the risk of fraudulent checks being written against the city. And what this does is you would send a approved or an authorized check register to the bank, and that bank will use that to make sure that, any checks that are presented to them, if it's not on that list, those checks will be rejected. And then that report will be sent to the city for the city to review and either, accept or approve the rejection. So this is a good way that a lot of governments are reducing that risk of fraudulent checks being written against them. During our review of SPLOST projects during the year, we noted that some projects did not have any expenditures noted. And so it appears as if the project was abandoned, or either maybe some of the expenditures had been misclassified and the schedule not updated properly. So we are recommending that you take a look at the schedule. In accordance with your SPLOST referendum, you cannot abandon projects for those projects that were approved by your citizens. And then the last management point deals with authorized signers on accounts. We noted that, of course, you had some turnover, and looking at some of those signature cards, you still have former employees noted as authorized check signers. And so you need to make sure that once a person leaves, who is an authorized check signer, that they get immediately removed from that signature card. And I've talked with the finance director about it. I think she's on top of making sure all of that is updated currently. Now I'll just kind of talk about a few GASB standards. This first one, GASB 87, this will be applicable for fiscal year June 30, 2022. It deals with leases. And like I mentioned to you all in previous years, excuse me, that it's going to require a lot of governments to report their leases as a capital asset as well as a liability. You all currently don't have a lot of operating leases, but I know a lot of governments do. And with those operating leases, they're going to have to treat them like capital leases and record an asset and liability. So it's a huge undertaking for a lot of governments. I don't think it's going to be a huge impact for the city of Forest Park, as you don't have currently a lot of operating leases, but it's something that you still need to evaluate to make sure and and determine what the impact is going to be on the city. GASB 91 deals with conduit debt obligations. And so when your development authority are issuing bonds for third parties, that debt is not reflected in your financial statements, but you're required to disclose conduit debt in your footnotes. And so under the current standard, the old standard, sometimes these development authorities, that's been around for years and they've issued all these bonds, it's kind of hard for them to gather what that outstanding balance is at year end. And so they're allowed under the old standard to just disclose what the issuance amount is and not what the current outstanding balance is. This standard says you no longer can do that. You have to reflect what the current outstanding balance is. And so we're recommending to our clients to almost treat it like as if it's your debt. Like you send out confirmations and things of that nature. So you want to work on that throughout the year to determine what that balance is and not wait until year end and start trying to gather that information for the audit. And then the next one I want to talk about is on the next slide, GASB 96, one more. So GASB 96 deals with subscription-based information technology arrangements. The accounting and reporting is similar to GASB 87 dealing with leases. And so you would recognize a liability and an asset. And so an example of this would be if you had a cloud-based accounting software system that you pay subscriptions for. Under this standard, you would reflect that as a capital asset and long-term debt. The last thing I want to talk about is our next slide. We continue to offer free continuing education classes to our clients. We try to do this 4 times a year. Since the pandemic, we've been doing it virtually, and we probably have over 100 participants that participate in that, and Cedar Forest Park staff have participated in those classes as well. So you can see the various topics that we try to teach at these classes. And anytime a new GASB standard comes out, we try to get ahead of the game and make sure our clients are aware of those standards before it's time to implement them. So that kind of concludes my presentation. I know that was a lot of information, but it was our honor and pleasure in providing auditing services to the Cedar Forest Park, and look forward to getting the city back on track where you're issuing your ACFR within 6 months of year end.
All right, thank you so much. Councilman Gutierrez.
Thank you for the report, very thorough. And we've been taking out of your advice. We're trying our best to. So thank you for that.
Councilwoman Wells.
No, I don't have anything. Thank you.
Councilman Mears.
Yes, I'd like to say, I'm real impressed about this presentation and the in-depth that you went into in the book to give us guidance where we need to go. And I want to thank you for doing a good job.
Councilwoman James.
Yes, just have a couple of questions. Thank you, sir, for the information. So when you give recommendations, do you follow up with a review on if we're taking steps to do those recommendations, or how does that process work?
Yeah, so normally what I try to do is, I always sit down with management when we have a finding or management points and say, okay, what is your game plan for correcting this? And then I try to kind of follow up even before we come out to do the audit, just to make sure that they are aware of those management points from the previous year, to make sure that they're tackling them accordingly. And so once we come out to do the next year's audit, of course, we would start with the findings and management, see if those have been addressed. And then we move.
But one of the things that I see that I think it might have showed up last year too, was regarding the E911 funds and it not showing up on the actual audit itself. I think that's on your page 15. And just the way it was, I guess, not reported or not showing up on the audit.
Okay. So your E91 is actually, it is reported within your financial statements. And so it's actually in your ACFR on page 51 and 52 as a non-major governmental fund. And so what we're talking about is there was no budget adopted for your special revenue funds, which includes the E911 fund.
So, like I know we had some, and I don't know if this question is for you per se, but I know we had some discrepancies with the way some of the line items looked on our budget. and and the way it was reflected.
Mhm.
So do you all, in your audit, do you get down to like the specifics of, what line item should appear or not appear?
So we do look at your budgets. I mean, we don't necessarily audit the budget numbers, but when we get your trial balance reports and we upload that into our software, we get the budgets as well. And so when we're doing our analytical procedures, we're comparing actual numbers to your amended and final budget numbers. And if anything seems off, then we will take a deeper dive and talk to the clients about it. And we've had situations where some things had to kind of be moved around that were not necessarily provided to us correctly within those departments.
Thank you.
All right, Councilwoman Wells.
So I had one question, I just forgot it, so I'm sorry. Did you all look into, I heard you say the projects, the SPOS projects that were abandoned or looked abandoned? Do you have a list of those? I don't have my books up here with me.
Yes, so if you refer to senior ACFR, I don't know if you have a copy, but you can write this down. Let's see, it is on page 64. Let me back up, I'm sorry. 63, 64, and 65. And so they're by, when the SPOS program was approved. So you have the series 2008 on 63, 2015 on 64, and 2021 on 65. So of course, the one for 2020 is new, but if you look at the other two, there's some projects that are showing zero expenditures.
From 2008?
Hold on, not 2000, well, yes. One project on 2008 that's showing 0%.
Thank you.
Councilman Antoine, is there anything you wanted to add? Thank you.
Okay, thank you all.
Dr. Cooper forgot one part of his city manager's report that we're going to get to now.
Yes, I do apologize, Council. I forgot one of the most important parts to introduce the new staff. So do we want to start with Deputy Chief? You want to start, Nigel?
Wait, come up to the mic, please.
I just didn't want them that overtime.
I apologize, they left, but we got 3 new employees. We got Mr. Barry Foss with the Parks Division, and we got Richard Tucker with the Streets Division, and we have Ms. Cheyenne Moss with the Sanitation Division.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
All right.
Deputy Chief Brunson, do we have anyone? We don't have anyone? Any other new staff? Thank you.
New business, item 3, council discussion regarding the renovation to an existing structure for Emergency Operations Center. Background and history. Discussion to authorize approval to award a task order to Precision Planning, Inc. for a feasibility study and professional design services to the city of Forest Park for the renovation of an existing structure to house the Emergency Operations Center, and to authorize approval to award a contract to Valentino and Associates, Inc. to provide for a legal description for the east parcel and one overall legal description to include the existing parcel where the new public safety building is located. The proposal is to renovate an existing facility located adjacent to the new Gillen Public Safety Building in Gillen Logistics. Once completed, the building will house the Emergency Operations Center. The existing facility is located on Anvil Block Road and consists of a load-bearing block structure with steel roof framing, low slope roof, and brick veneers. The renovated facility will be based on one of four floor plan design options provided by Precision and will consist of office space, breakout conference rooms, restrooms, locker rooms with showers, break room, quiet room, and a large open war room. Precision shall provide preliminary design services to determine the feasibility of the project. Yes, sir, Mr. Shelby, welcome back.
Welcome back.
In this temporary
Yeah.
capacity, it was good to see you. And you have the floor.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council.
Good evening.
I want to speak on this project, but if you would mind, I'll just give you a brief overview of all the projects in the capital projects, if that's okay.
Yes, sir.
This project, if you recall, when we first started looking at the public safety building in Gillen, EOC was not included. And then we tried to pigeonhole it in and became, it was not feasible cost-wise. So this building, which is an existing building that is in the inventory of URA, is a brick building. It's kind of hard to see if you go down Anvil Block. You'll see it now because our fire station is so imposing. And by the way, if you haven't been down there, you're going to be really shocked. It's a really handsome building. It's one of the best buildings down there in Gillen. It's going to be really nice. It's going to represent the city of Forest Park. I'm really excited about it. And it's a small building. And speaking with Chief Clemens, she's been through it with her staff. PPI walked through it with us. And it is a sound building with good bones. And it shouldn't cost much to renovate, but we won't know the cost until we get the feasibility study done. And that's what this feasibility study would do. It would help us to understand all the utilities that is needed. We have to put a new roof on. Again, the basic structure itself is in good shape. There's not much to be done to it. So it shouldn't cost as much as the original cost when we were going to build it from ground up. So that's that project. And I don't know if Chief Clement's not here. Do you want to say anything about it? Okay, all right, they're cool. They just want a building to go in. And so just to give you an update on the Gillen Public Safety Building, again, if you haven't been down there, it's under construction. The walls, as a matter of fact, they're start working on the interior of the space right now. And it should be done. It's on schedule. And by the way, we've saved about $63,000 on that building through some other design work that we've done. And we should have that completed by April of 2023. And we're on time. Star Park, the construction drawings are just about completed. We will get that out to bid at the end of this month, September. And by the time the bid is done, we will have someone on board to start construction around December 1st. And that's the same with the fire station at City Center. The fire station at City Center will be something similar to the one that we have out in Gillen. It just won't have a police precinct attached to it. And if you haven't driven down Main Street, they got the yellow cones out there and they got the signs showing the dates when they're going to start construction, but they're already underway on that. And the good news is today, Mayor, the entrance signs were approved by GDOT today.
No way.
So hopefully we have some logistics, Mike, I need to work out with you about some bonds or something like that we have to do. So I'll get with you on that. But other than that, we should start working on that as well. So just want to give you a brief update. I have another agenda item so that we can light up the place for Georgia Power, and I'll come back for that.
All right, wait. Councilman Gutierrez, questions or comments?
No, nice seeing you again, Director Shelby. I hope vacation retirement is treating you well. You look great. And thank you for just coming through with these good news, because if you're going to bring bad news, we was going to arrest you because you don't work with us no more.
Why did you combine vacation and retirement in the same sentence?
Just living the life.
Councilwoman Wild.
I just want to say thank you for everything you've done, everything you continue to do.
Well, I appreciate you all letting me finish these projects for you. Thank you so very much, because I'm enjoying working on them and getting them done for you.
Councilman Mears, Councilwoman James, Councilman Antoine. I am like literally in tears here. Yeah, I am, you know how ecstatic I am to have these projects get to the point to where they actually are at. And it was a long journey, but we are finally here. So thank you to absolutely, oh gosh, everyone who was a part of making this happen. I know the residents have been talking about it for well before I came into office, and for this administration to be the catalyst for all that is really humbling to be a part of it all. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you, Mr. Shelby. And I also like to thank Ms. Gardner for agreeing to let Mr. Shelby stay on with us too.
Item 4, council discussion on entering into a service agreement with Lexapol. Background and history. The Forest Park Fire Department would like to purchase an annual service agreement with Lexapol that includes an annual subscription with Fire Rescue One Academy. This vendor is the sole source vendor that provides standard operating procedures and fire standards specifically for fire departments. It also provides a scenario-based learning platform for the fire service staff. The services are geared to keeping firefighters safe, reduce liability, improve policy understanding, enhance accountability, and following best practices. Holcomb, is that you? Okay, hello. You have the floor, sir. Is there anything you want to add?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Fire department has faced daily with challenges protecting of our own personnel. While also striving to improve efficiency and operational excellence. This program will allow the fire department to build a foundation of comprehensive and up-to-date policies, reducing the chance of experiencing adverse or potential insignificant legal liability as such as incident command, personal protective equipment, harassment and discrimination issues, fireground accountability, social media, apparatus vehicle operations, and HIPAA violations. Lexapol fire policies and training solutions provide a state, state-specific policies vetted by fire personnel and public safety attorneys. Updates in response to litigation, case law, and evolving in best practices. Scenario-based training to bring policies to life, where it will bring access to the policies with a web-based platform and a mobile app.
Oh, thank you. Councilman Gutierrez.
Yeah.
It's the mayor's
My
time.
bad.
It's okay. Thank you. This is a great report. Do we not get the COVID? Are we good on that? Is it over?
It's the
Okay, I'm
first
sorry.
meeting of the month.
Thank you, sir.
So you weren't paying
Nice
attention.
mustache.
Councilwoman Wells,
Thank you so much.
Councilman Mears.
Good.
Wait, sir. We got a couple of more. Councilwoman James. And Councilman Antoine.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 5. Discussion to execute an agreement with Georgia Power Company to install outdoor lighting for the new public safety building at Gillen. Background and history. Discussion to authorize approval to execute an agreement with Georgia Power Company to install 10 225W LED area outdoor lighting system for the new public safety building. Georgia Power Company will retain ownership of the system. The agreement is standard operating lease of 1-month agreement that automatically renews month to month. The lease price is fixed. All materials, labor, energy, and maintenance to operate the system is included in the agreement. The new public safety building at Gillen will require a total of 10 225W outdoor lighting fixtures. Georgia Power Company has installed about 95% of the lighting at Gillen Logistics and would add this project to its portfolio at Gillen. Georgia Power Company will monitor and maintain the lighting system. The signed agreement will allow Georgia Power Company to prepare for construction and move forward with ordering materials. All right, you have the floor, sir.
Again, this agreement is similar to the one that we have on Main Street. It was taken out of the contractor's agreement, the contractor's contract, because Georgia Power will not only maintain the lighting, but they will operate it. It would be theirs. We wouldn't have to worry about maintenance. If somebody knock it down, they would come out and repair it. So an upfront cost is $62,600, and the lease is $370.40 a month for the lights out at Gillen. And the money will come out of the contingency fund. It will not come out of general funds at all.
All right, thank you. Councilman Gutierrez.
Is this Dr. Cooper, that one you had mentioned where we would pay all that, when we were losing all? Is that
No,
something
no,
else?
no, no. This is totally
Oh,
different.
okay. You were safe. Thank you, Dr. Shaw.
Councilwoman Wells.
No.
Councilman Mears.
I think that sounds like a pretty good price for a 24-hour coverage and guaranteed no cost to the city. I think that's a good plan.
Councilwoman James. Councilman Antoine. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Item 6, council discussion to approve a second round of employee premium pay. Background and history. The city of Forest Park was approved and has received its second round of American Rescue Plan Act funds in the amount of $3,783,098. Under the United States Department of Treasury guidelines, employee premium pay is an acceptable use for these funds. This is a resolution requesting for a second round of one-time employee premium payments to all full-time staff on payroll and not on probation in the amount of $2,500. It is further requested that any new full-time staff hired prior to October 1st of 2022 payments be held in abeyance until such individuals have successfully completed their 6-month probationary period and then paid in a lump sum. Under this resolution, the employee premium payments would be extended in full no later than April 28th, the year 2023. Under the guidance provided, all ARPA grant funds must be expended by December 31st, 2026. The city manager is seeking direction from council on how they would like to proceed in this matter. Dr. Cooper, is there anything you would like to add?
No, Madam Mayor, this is just a request for a second round with employee and premium pay to all the staff that has been dedicated to the city throughout the COVID pandemic, throughout everything we've done here. So that's what this request is for council.
Councilman Gutierrez.
No questions?
Councilwoman Wells.
I just have one question, because it's like we're kind of contradicting ourselves in the last. It says this is a resolution requesting for a second round of one-time employee premium payments to all full-time staff on payroll and not on probation in the amount of $2,500. Then it goes back to say it is further requested that all new staff hired prior to October 1st payments. So would it be including them or would it be without?
No, basically what it is that if you are currently hired and you're on your 6-month probation, your monies basically will be held until you successfully complete it. So anyone that would be hired, and this date could be changed by council at your leisure, but if a staff member is hired prior to October 1st, or anyone hired prior to October 1st, basically their payments are just held until they successfully complete their probationary period. So that's when it says not on probation.
I get that, but we still contradicting ourselves, but okay.
Councilman Mears.
I think that's a good idea on the probation part. We need some way to retain these people, even people that are already working for us. We don't want to get the money and run, hun. You know what I'm saying? We need some kind of way to hold them, glue them here for a certain period of time. So I think you got a right idea.
Councilwoman James.
Yes, I actually am in favor of this. However, I do want to include our part-time employees. I understand we only have 13 part-time employees, so it may not be the same amount, but at least to show our part-time employees that we appreciate them as well. So I would like to try to include a number for our 13 part-time employees.
So we are talking about the year-round part-time employees, correct?
No, I'm talking all part-time employees.
Even seasonal?
Yes.
Councilman, is there anything else? Councilman Antoine? Did you have an amount for the part-time employees, Councilwoman, that you wanted
So,
to
so
consider?
I'm sorry, madam. So my question is the amount, it looks like the total is 3,738,098. And was that just the amount, total amount that we're receiving in that American Rescue Plan Act?
That was for this allotment. The first allotment was exactly the same. So we had a total of, I think, 7.4 million something.
Okay, so out of this allotment, can we take, at least maybe $500 for the 13 part-time employees to include them, and then kind of whatever, reduce a little bit of what we give to everyone else?
You got that?
So that total would be like, whatever 500 times 13 is.
So you want to give part-time employees $500?
Yeah, I would think so, something.
And then
Something,
take
anything
away
is
from the
better.
full-time employee?
Anything is better than nothing. So they will still get probably over $2,000. Because we're only talking about 13 employees.
Like 700.
You wanted to say something else, Councilman?
Yeah, go ahead, Doc. I was just gonna say if we can edit us, it's like $650. And then my other question was be like, if it's seasonal or part-time, wouldn't we base it off the hours? Or
That's
make
that's
half of
what
that?
I would have to go back to try to figure out, because if it's a seasonal employee. So for example, many of our seasonal are ending the end of this month. The year round, I can understand because they're with us all year round and they're part-time, and that I definitely can understand. Seasonal, I don't know how we would do that.
But don't we have seasonal employees that come back every season? I mean, they're,
I mean,
I
not
mean, it could
necessarily
be-
the same ones. You may get hired because you have that experience and they may bring you back. But it basically is an open application process every year for seasonal employees. Some of them come back, some of them don't.
All right, any other questions or comments?
I would just say halfway in favor of part-time employees, but definitely not taking away from our full-time employees, giving it to part-time. Like, that's just nonsense to me. Like, these are employees that come to work every single day for years and years and years, and we want to take away from them to give away to seasonal employees. I'm not in favor of that, and I hope y'all are.
All right, thank you. Oh, that's it. All right, that is it for the work session. So I will ask for a motion to close the work session.
I'll second.
Councilman no, who was that? Councilman Mears. And it was seconded by Councilwoman James. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. You guys need a break or we could zip through? All right, a 3-minute break. Like. Just take your time. It's okay. We'll wait on you. But that's not who you're talking to. Okay, good evening, everyone. It is 7:06 and the regular meeting for mayor and council for September 9th is called to order. And we will do our mission statement reading, which is as follows. It is the mission of the city of Forest Park to enhance, strengthen, and grow our city by collaborating with our community to provide the highest level of service, striving to be recognized as a diverse community that values and respects all members. We will strive to provide fair, professional, and courteous service through transparency and open communication. As we work to achieve this mission, we will have integrity beyond reproach while employing fiscal discipline and innovation. In this work, there are no praises and raises for mediocrity. I will now ask if Dr. Payton can come to the podium for tonight's invocation. So all those who are able to stand, can you please do so and remain standing throughout the Pledge of Allegiance?
Let us pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, God, we come tonight first to say thank you. We thank you, God, for your goodness and mercy toward us. We thank you, God, for how you kept us all day and you brought us to this point. Now, Lord, as we are here, we invoke your presence as we come to do business on behalf of this city. And God, we pray that you would guide our actions and our thoughts, even the conversation that would take place, the discussion that would take place. God, let it be all for your glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
One nation
under God,
indivisible.
with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. White, roll call, please.
Good afternoon, good evening. Roll call for the regular meeting, September 19th. Councilmember James.
Present.
Councilmember Anton. Councilmember Gutierrez.
Present.
Councilmember Aiken Wells.
Here.
Councilmember Mears.
Here.
Mayor and council, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We have one for public comments, and that's Mrs. Falami.
Good evening, everyone. I am actually here to give a report on my volleyball team. We just lost 25-2 on our first set. The second one was 25-3. But the best part about it, my scholars did very well because they tried. Enough of that. Now I would like to go into the community business that I'm hearing. And that is, let me back up. First, let me say thank Dr. Cooper for a very productive meeting that he and I did have this week. Thank you so much for that. Now into the community conversation. The community conversation is speaking that the councilors and the governor body want to raise, saying that the chair wants 55Ks a year and the council want 38. And I am opposed to that because that seems as if you ought to be making more than the workers. That's just my opinion, but that's the conversation. Nevertheless, the second conversation is that we, the city, overplayed IRS. And how do we do that? When we start paying for subordinators that is not on our register. These are some things that are saying in the community. I just want to bring it back. I was going to call Councilman Gutierrez, but I brought it to the body because it's from the concerned citizen. And these are some things we need to take attention to. And some of us are going out with this media on these different sites and podcasts and being very disrespectful to themselves, first and foremost, and secondly, to the city that they represent. When you all go out to these podcasts or these shows, make sure you represent the constituent, not just yourself. No one out here is against you. Nobody out here don't like you. I don't have hate in my heart for nobody. First thing I believe in, you don't have a heaven and hell to put me in, and neither do I have one for you. So I want you to be very careful how you represent yourself to represent our city. Other than that, Councilman Gutierrez, if you could take a look at Lloyd and see about some speed breakers, because the other evening we had I guess you would say a racetrack. You're welcome to come park and post up in front of my door. If you like, I invite our public service to come over and sit and post up. It's ridiculous. Hot rod all night, spinning tires, children is riding bikes. I literally had to jump almost in front of a child to keep them from getting hit by a car. So I'm going to yield my time back, and I don't have to yield it back, but that's all I have tonight. God bless our public service who's working. Y'all look good in y'all dark blue uniform. Keep up the good work. God bless you.
Thank you. Adoption of tonight's agenda. I will ask if we can amend tonight's agenda to have the swearing in of Victoria Williams to the Development Authority Board and Alvin Patton, if he's here, to the Development Authority Board. Is there a motion to accept that addition?
So moved.
Now it's Councilwoman
Second.
James. Is there a second by Councilman Gutierrez? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. So that will be. Okay. Now the minutes. Have everyone had the opportunity to review the minutes from September 6th? And if so, are there any changes to be recommended?
Madam Mayor, I just have one question.
Yes.
We don't have the work session minutes included in here. Is it just gonna be approved for, next meeting? Okay, so I'll make a motion that we approve the regular minutes for September 6th.
All right, that was Councilwoman James. Is there a second?
Yes,
That
sir.
was Councilman Gutierrez. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. Item 2, council approval of pay increase request for Forest Park Police Department. Background and history. The Forest Park City Council had discussion around a 15% pay increase for police and a 10% pay increase for fire personnel at the September 6th workshop meeting. Per request, after the previous meeting discussion, the proposed increase request has been amended to extend a 15% pay increase to police only, excluding the chief and deputy chief, and a council vote has been requested. And so Councilwoman James, this was your item. Is there anything you want to add to this?
Well, Madam Mayor, I want to, make a motion to table it because I've been collecting some additional information, that I need to get clarity on. So I would entertain a motion to table this item.
I'm sorry?
Until when?
Till next time, next meeting.
Until it's put back on the agenda. All right, there is a motion on the floor to table. Is there a second?
Second.
That was Councilman Mears. Any further discussion? Councilwoman James?
Yes.
Councilman Antoine?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wells? And Councilman Mears.
Yes.
Item 3, council approval of sanitation request for proposal process. Background and history. This Forest Park City Council had discussion around the current request for proposal process for sanitation services at the September 6th workshop meeting. Per council members' request after the previous meeting's discussion, no direction had been provided as to continuing with the current RFP process or canceling it and working to negotiate a new long-term contract with our current vendor. The city manager is seeking direction from the city council on how they would like staff to proceed, and a vote has been requested. Councilwoman James, is this you as well?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. I would entertain a motion to, continue let me get it right. I would entertain a motion to cancel the RFP and continue the, process with our current vendor, in negotiation with our current vendor.
All right, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
That was Councilwoman Wells. Any further discussion? Councilwoman James?
Yes.
Councilman Antoine?
Is this to continue with the RFP process or is this something else?
It's to stop the RFP process and enter into negotiations with Waste Management.
With new waste management?
Waste managers.
I mean, it's the same company.
Continue with the same company or cancel.
Okay, yes, I'm in favor of that.
Councilman Gutierrez,
No.
Council, wait, where are we at? Okay, Councilwoman Wells
Yes.
and Councilman Mears.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Yeah. Item 4, new business, council approval of the renovation to an existing structure for Emergency Operations Center. Is there a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second?
Second.
That was Councilman Mears. Any further discussion? Councilwoman James?
Yes.
Councilman Antoine?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wells and Councilman Mears.
Yes.
Council approval to enter into a service agreement with Lexapol. Is there a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
That's Councilwoman James. Is there a second?
Second.
That was Councilman Mears. Any further discussion? Councilwoman James?
Yes.
Councilman Antoine?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wells
Yes.
and Councilman Mears.
Yes.
Thank you. Council approval to execute an agreement with Georgia Power Company to install outdoor lighting for the new public safety building at Gillen. Is there a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
So moved.
Councilwoman James, is there a second? That
Second.
was Councilman Gutierrez. Any further discussion? Councilwoman James?
Yes.
Councilman Antoine?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wells
Yes.
and Councilman Mears.
Yes.
Item 7, council to approve second round of employee premium pay. Is
So
there,
moved.
wait, I haven't, hold on, slow down. Is there a motion to approve this round of pay for full-time employees and allow staff to come back with a figure for part-time employees?
So moved.
That's what, that, Councilwoman Wells. Is there a second?
Second.
That was Councilman Mears. Any further discussion? Councilwoman James,
Yes.
Councilman Antoine,
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Wells.
Yes.
And Councilman Mears.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Next, we'll have the swearing in of Victoria. Is Alvin with us today?
He's in the back. Yeah.
Oh, hey. Okay, if you guys want to come up.
But it wouldn't affect the current.
I state your name.
Victoria Williams.
Do solemnly swear and affirm
Do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will honestly and faithfully
that I will honestly and faithfully
perform the duties of a member of the Development Authority Board
perform the duties of a member of the Development Authority Board
of the City of Forest Park.
of the City of Forest Park.
I further swear
I further swear
that I am not the holder
that I'm not the holder
of any unaccounted for public money
Of any
unaccounted for public money
due this state
due this state
or any political subdivision
or any political subdivision
or authority thereof.
or authority thereof,
That I am not the holder
that I'm not the holder
of any
of any office
office
of trust
of the government of the United
of
States,
the Government of the United States,
any other state,
any other state,
or any foreign state
or any foreign state
from which I am by the laws of the state of Georgia prohibited.
from which I am the laws of the state of Georgia prohibited,
That I am otherwise qualified
that I am otherwise qualified
to hold said office
to hold said office
according to the Constitution
according to the
and the
Constitution
laws of Georgia.
and the laws of Georgia,
That I will support the Constitution
that I will support the
of the
Constitution
United States
of the United
and
States
this state
and this state,
and observe the provisions
and observe the
of the
provisions
charter
of the Charter
and Code of Ordinances
and Code of Ordinance
of the City of Forest Park.
of the City of Forest Park. So help me God.
Okay, so. you guys assign her the pen? Thank you both so much. Oh. Well, do you want to do two separate motions in case? Okay. All right, Councilwoman James is going to recall.
Yes, Madam
Yes.
Mayor, I want to make a motion to reconsider agenda item number 7 to approve the second round of employee premium pay. I want to make a motion to reconsider.
What is it?
Is there a second?
Make a motion to reconsider.
Item 7. So, is there a second?
Second.
That was Councilman Gutierrez. Any further discussion?
And the only reason I want to reconsider it is I want to go ahead and establish the $500 $500 pay for part-time.
All right. Councilwoman James.
Yes.
Councilman Antoine.
Councilman Antoine?
Yes, no. I like it the way it was before.
Tell them that what's going on. I don't think I
They're
understand.
just reconsidering the vote to include part-time staff.
A
They're
figure.
not changing anything, just a figure for part-time staff.
Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you.
And so your vote is
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wells?
Yes, but I just want the people to understand it's not taking anything from the full-time employee.
Correct.
And not including seasonal.
Yes.
And, okay, and Councilman Mears was a yes. All right, Councilwoman James, you can state your motion.
So my motion is to approve the second round of employee premium pay with 2,500 for the full-time staff and 500 for part-time staff.
All right, there is a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
That was Councilwoman Wells. Any further discussion? Councilwoman James?
Yes.
Councilman Antoine?
I support that, yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wells?
Yes.
And Councilman Mears?
Yes.
All right, thank you. So we do have executive session tonight, and we will start our closing comments with Councilman Gutierrez.
I think I had some pictures I was showing. This, you choosing me first is throwing me off today, Mayor. And you call me a woman. I know I smell nice, but, do you not have anything to show up there? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we just had a great, initial Hispanic Heritage Month, celebration. Yeah, we're looking forward to, our next celebration on October 8th. It'll be at Star Park. Dr. Falami, thank you for bringing that up. We're gonna look into that. Are you, the road you're speaking of, is that Old Jonesboro Road? That's where the speeding is happening? Okay, so we'll look at that. And, yeah, thank you everybody for coming out. And, if anybody needs anything, you have my information. My ankle is better for the people that were worried. And, nice seeing you again, Director Shelby.
Councilwoman Wells?
Oh, man, first, Martin and Jenkins is on. I want to thank Martin and Jenkins, and I also want to make sure we go back and look into what he was speaking of as far as the SPLOST programs, and they have been abandoned. Because I'm looking through this book, it's a lot, and I remember a lot of the things we've been talking about, and absolutely nothing has happened. And that's the people's vote, so I think we need to definitely look into that. I too want to thank you, Dr. Shelby, for everything you've done, again, everything you continue to do. And we enjoy you as long as we're allowed to have you. And I just want to bring up, Councilwoman James talked a lot of stuff at the last meeting about this Jonesboro and Forest Park game. I got off of work and I made it my business to get there at the last 9 minutes. And Forest Park lost 34-0 at their homecoming. And I went to Forest Park, but my son is a Cardinal, so I follow my kids. So I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that because she was so, oh my goodness, she was talking so much. She was talking so, Councilwoman James, to see all of the old classmates and everything was absolutely amazing. It was amazing, but go Cardinals. Y'all have a good night and thank you so much for coming out.
Councilman Mears? Councilman Mears?
I'm good. I
Oh,
don't have any-
okay. Councilwoman James?
Yes, I gotta give it to him. You know, it's still part of Clayton County, so go Clayco. The neighborhood meeting that I just hosted will be on the website this week. I just been so round up with everything else that's going on. I just had not had a chance to get it to Ms. Dixon yet. But it was a very informative meeting, so I do invite you to go to the website once it's up and take a look at that information. Thank you everyone for coming out. And there's some other things that I have to look into as far as salary is concerned, but I am very much in favor of starting with our public safety department, giving them an increase. And so I just want to let you all know that is something that I'm pushing hard. Thank you.
Councilman Antoine?
Great meeting. I hope everybody enjoys their night. And until next time, God bless. Thank you all.
Thank you. I want to thank everyone for coming out and ask for a motion to recess and enter into.
I got one announcement.
Yes, sir.
I forgot. You know,
Really?
first thing goes when you get old. I think we're gonna have a belated birthday tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
Everybody needs to know that our city manager is trying to get under the wire, but he's getting older. So tomorrow's his birthday and I want to wish him a happy birthday.
Can we say happy birthday?
Me too.
Thank you for that. Is there a motion to recess the regular meeting and enter into executive session for personnel, litigation, real estate, or legal matters? House Councilwoman James, is there a second?
Second.
House Councilwoman Wells, all in favor? Opposed? All right, thank you. All right, is there a motion to adjourn the executive session and reconvene into our regular meeting?
So move.
Councilwoman James, is there a second? That's Councilwoman Wells. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
That's Councilwoman Wells. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, that was Gutierrez. All in favor?